Alright, today we're doing 11.2 and we're talking about slope of a line. Remember, slope means steepness. There are 4 types of slope. We always read a graph left to right. So if I'm looking from left to right and I see an arrow that's moving in an upward direction, this is going to have a positive slope. If I'm reading the graph left to right and I see a downward arrow, this is a negative slope. If I look and it's a horizontal line, this is 0 slope. And finally, if I see a vertical line, this is an undefined slope. There are a few ways to figure out what the slope of a line or a graph is. The first way is rise over run. So we are going to count up and over. This also means change in y, because the y is the vertical line, over change in x. So the formula that you need to get down is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We are really going to be using the rise over run and this equation to find slope. So I want to find slope. So I'm figuring out what is the slope. So remember, we always are going to write our slope as a fraction. And looking at this right away, I'm noticing that from the bottom, it goes from the bottom upwards. So this is going to be a positive slope. So all I'm going to do is at the bottom point is I'm going to count up and over to the next point. So start at bottom point and count to the next one. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went up 5, and now I'm going to go over 1, 2. So my slope is 5 over 2. If you get a slope, for example, that's 3 over 6, you always reduce it. So we would say that this is 1/3. So your fractions must be in simplest form. Let's try another one. Okay, let's find the slope of this graph. So again, I'm finding slope, so this is going to have to be a fraction. And I notice from the top going down, it's moving in a downward direction. So right away we can say that this is going to be a negative slope. Again, you can start at the bottom point and count to the next. So when I do this, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have negative 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4. I have negative 4 over negative 4. That can reduce to negative 1 over 1 or just negative 1. I would accept either answer. Okay, now let's find slope and we are given 2 points. Okay, so remember, this is the equation that we're using, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if we're given the points 3, 6 and negative 1, 4, and they want to know what the slope is, always label first. So I'm going to go x1, y1, x2, y2. Now I'm just going to plug those numbers into the formula. So instead of saying y2, I'm going to say 4 minus 6 in my numerator. My denominators are x's, so I'm going to do negative 1 minus 3. Now every time we see subtraction, we are doing SAO. So this is actually 4 plus negative 6, which is negative 2. Negative 1 plus negative 3, which is negative 4. Now here you have to think rules of division and fractions. When you have 2 negatives, they cancel out. Also, I want this always in simplest form. So to reduce 2/4, that would be 1/2. So if you were to plot these 2 points given, the slope would be 1/2. Let's try one more. Okay, I want you to find the slope between the 2 points 2, 5 and 8, 1. So first I want you to start by labeling and then plugging them into your equation. Once you've done that, play the video again and compare your answer to mine. Okay, so what you should have done is x1, y1, x2, y2. Now I just want to plug this all in. So I'm going to do y2 minus y1. So 1 minus 5 over x2 minus x1. So 8 minus 2. I'm going to turn them all into addition. So go ahead and solve now, and then compare your answer to mine once you've finished. Okay, so you have 1 plus -5, which is -4, and 8 plus -2, which is 6. So we have -4 over 6. Now we can reduce that. Remember, you're always reducing your fractions. We can divide these both by 2. So we get -2/3. That's my final answer. All right, you can go ahead and do your exit slip now.